Hi, welcome back. So we'll be talking about variables now. Okay, so what are variables and how they are used? Okay, how useful they are. Okay, so if you remember where we left off last time, we have simply coded our first simple application. Okay, and just to recap, that a C# program, okay, will contain at least one class. Okay, it consists at least one class. In our case now, the class is called program, okay, which is the default class being created, and it will have at least one main method, only one and only one. Okay, and in fact, it has to contain a main method. All right, and the C# application start execution from this main method. All right, so hence by default we'll start over here and execute this line. Okay, so now what this means and all this, okay, simply means that this is the method name, okay, and these are the arguments that it will take from the console, okay, which is that black screen which we key in, but we will actually not really use this, so you can ignore this. Okay, just take note that method name is main, okay, the return type is void. Okay, this method does not return anything, it just does a print line. Alright, okay, and static, I'll explain it later, but it's just a reserved keyword for now. You cannot use static, anyhow use static. Right, so what we'll be doing now is we'll be introducing variables. Okay, variables. Now variables are names, okay, given to memory cells where the computer uses to store data. Alright, variables, you can think of variables as we use variables to store data for use. Okay, for example, in okay, we can have a couple of variables. We can have a height variable. Okay, a height variable. Okay, this is a height variable, and we can have a temperature variable. Okay, we can have a name variable, okay, which represents your name. Okay, so these are variables. Okay, these are variables. Essentially, they store data for use in our program. Okay, this is the most basic thing. You can think of them as like algebra, right? Algebra. Okay, so variables, we can assign values to them. Okay, we are declaring variables over here. Okay, we can also assign them values. For example, height, we can say that height of 160 centimeters. Temperature, okay, let's say 36.9, and name, we can say that is John. Okay, so we have the height variable has a value of 160, the temperature variable has a value of 36.9, and the name variable has a value of John. Okay, now take note that beside each variable name, okay, this is a variable name, okay, height, temperature, and name itself. Beside each of this, what you see here is the variable's type. Okay, we call it the data type of the variable. In this case, our height, okay, the data is of the type integer. Okay, integer, and it pretty makes sense why we're going to use integer for height. Okay, 160 cm or can be 161 cm, so we declare integer. Now say if we want our data to have decimal point, what we can do is we can use double. Okay, so double is different from an integer in that it can contain decimal places. So for example, our body temperature 36.9, we choose to use double. Okay, now in cases where we do not want to work with numbers, we want to work with words, okay, or we call it strings in programming. Okay, we will declare it as a string type, and for example, people's names and John. Okay, of course you can have other we have other variable types like character, which represents one character. For example, I'll say grade, character grade, and the A. Alright, okay, so take note that a character, you cannot just put A like that, you have to put a single apostrophe. Okay, and for string you have to put a double quote. Alright, so these variables are important. To summarize, you have learned what are variables. They are used to store data, and the data itself, they have types. Okay, you have learned about the integer type, double type, string type, and the character type. Okay, more about variables and how we use them later.